This is not war. It's human extinction.
It is time for war. An open war between the Coalition and the Viltrum Empire begins. Thetis is hyping up the Coalition that the Viltrumites are weak. There's only 50 of them left compared to the thousands of people we got. We can easily clap them. We see Thrag commanding his Viltrumites that the Coalition believes they are strong. Even if there's only 50 of us left, just one can easily decimate a planet with ease. They are weak. We are strong. All is ours. Even the Scourge virus only made us better. Let the war begin. A Viltrumite speeds off with the swiftness, easily dismantling the ship. We go back to Thrag, who's in his war room, frustrated as to why these lesser beings are rebelling. We brought order to chaos. Okay, bet. They want freedom? They don't even deserve or understand the concept of freedom. But let me chill. It's okay. That Thetis gave them false hope that he and his coalition will be enough. Is this man talking to a skull? Okay, Thrag has to be a little unhinged to be talking to a skull. It's like the governor having all them heads in the fish tanks and just watching them. We head back to the planet with Nolan making Conquest a grave, RIP. Oliver arrives mad as hell that Nolan is giving a monster like Conquest a grave, that he doesn't deserve a burial. He wouldn't even give us the same kindness if we were the ones dead instead of him. And Oliver flies off before Nolan can explain. I think Nolan burying Conquest speaks a lot to his character. He explains that Conquest was a true Viltrumite through and through and devoted his life to the Empire, which makes him a better Viltrumite than Nolan. We see Mark, who's still unconscious after getting his guts spilled out. Oliver anxious says they need to move him to see a doctor, but unfortunately for them, they're in deep Viltrumite territory, and attempting to move Mark will risk all three of them getting bodied by the Viltrumites or any of their allies. They're gonna have to chill and wait while Mark makes his recovery, and that could take months. Oliver isn't feeling this plan since that means being stuck on a planet with his deadbeat bum of a father and critically injured brother. Man, I never seen Mark like this. I wish he really was. We're back on the Viltrumite ship with Steve Harvey talking to the general and how they're needed at Glacia Prime yesterday. Make those coalition wannabes regret ever taking a stance against us. They tell Krieg they have yet to locate Conquest, Nolan, or his children. Krieg says you'll get your whipping later, just focus on this. Meanwhile, Alan and Zoe are playing Mario Kart until they hear what the general just said. Alan's like, bet, we just chill and wait it out, and when the moment's right, we just dip off to join a coalition before the Viltrumites notice, and they go back to playing video games. We switch back to Nolan packing up this bug. Hope you're hungry, sport. Unless you cook it and add some seasoning like some onion powder, garlic powder, adobo, then maybe I'll eat it. Nolan is chefing it up while Oliver is feeding Mark this questionable green liquid as any solids will make him choke. I feel so bad for Mark. Had his insides rearranged, most definitely in pain, and has green juices flowing down his throat. Just kill me at this point. It's the next day and Nolan tells Oliver it's time for training and we got all this time so might as well. Oliver sucks his teeth in talking about some I know how to fight. Do you? Even when you're fighting people who aren't Viltrumites, you're still getting clapped. Oliver, respectfully, you need the training. Oliver goes in punching and kicking at Nolan, who easily dodges all his weak, predictable attacks. Nolan grabs his hand, tossing him to the ground. Oliver attempts to throw more punches, but Nolan, not impressed, swings Oliver back to the dirt. Feel better? Now what do we learn? A little training won't hurt you.
Really, nigga?
Oliver, not trying to hear that, shoves Nolan, yelling how he was there that night. How you said my mama and dress up was a mistake. I was under the impression that Oliver wasn't home. He heard all of that? Nolan, sweating bullets, tries to explain. I was lying my ass off. I was just trying to win back Debbie. Have you seen your mama? She fine. Oliver, frustrated, cries out, am I a mistake too? Am I a one-night dumpster baby?
Prom night dumpster baby.
I wanted to be just like you. I even wore your dumbass symbol and you don't even bother to come see me? You're even worse than the fathers who go out to get some milk. Nolan flinched at that he agrees to everything Oliver says, but he's trying to be a better person and father. But it's too late since Oliver sees him as a bum. Back on the Viltrumite ship, Alan and Zoe head out to get to the coalition that's currently fighting to liberate a planet, but as soon as they leave, the Viltrumites are on their ass. Zoe is at maximum speed and can't go any faster. Baby girl about to get packed up. Better use your lucky charm. Alan can't leave behind Zoe, so he launches her towards the ship and turns with a swift right hook, punching Steve Harvey back, and grabs the other by the ankle, swinging him around. Steve comes back and both start jumping him. It's not looking good for Alan. It's starting to look like a death flag for him until Zoe makes a comeback and starts blasting. Alan questions why she came back. Does she have a death wish? But Zoe smugly replies she didn't come alone, with Space Racer pulling up from behind with his infinity ray and shoots old dude through the stomach and straight through the ship.
I'm in danger!
Steve Harvey, realizing his odds of surviving are slim, runs away. So you're comfortable to attack when you have your crew by your side, but by yourself you're a punk?
Yes.
Yeah. We're back with Nolan and Oliver, and Mark looking like Casper the Friendly Ghost's cousin with how pale his skin is. All that liquid they were feeding him wasn't enough. He isn't healing properly and needs more protein. The estranged father-son duo head off to a cave to get these eggs, but whatever this creature is comes out mama bear style and attacks them. Nolan gets body slammed to the ground while Oliver comes in giving a few decent punches in, but is struck by the monster's tail. This is the second time this season Oliver gets hit by a tail. Nolan needs to train him on being more aware of his surroundings. Both then 2v1 the monster with a unified uppercut. Nolan wants to destroy it, but Oliver defends the monster like, hey, if we kill her, she won't be able to make more eggs. And Oliver does make a point. Alan and Zoe make it back safely with the best character in the show waiting for them.
My man.
Oh my god, it's Kitty! That's my Kitty right there. I'm the boo to his Sully. Kitty walks up to Alan, pressing him on the false promises he made him.
You promised me more. More battle, more glory, more worthy opponents, more! More good, more!
Alan says, broski, chill. You're gonna have your battles. You're about to fight the strongest beings in the universe. How does that sound? Kitty is too adorable, I can't. I desperately want a Battle Beast plushie just to cuddle with. We're in the war room with Thetis discussing their plans. The table illuminates red and blue, with the red representing all the planets still under Viltrumite rule, and the blue that was liberated siding with the coalition. Thetis questions Alan, where's Nolan and his spawns? They ain't here yet? Alan is surprised, having no clue where the other three Viltrumites are. Speaking of the other three viable players to this war, we switch back to Nolan and Oliver and Mark with a beard. I'm telling y'all, this new look on Mark triggered the girls to make a bunch of thirst edits of him.
I slowly started to be seducted by him, like he started to seduce me.
Nolan is feeding Mark the eggs to speed up his healing, and I'm not gonna lie, Omni-Man with a beard?
The behavior that you exhibited was whore-like. The whore jumped out, and then it jumped back in.
Nolan sits by the fire, Oliver questioning once more, if you never loved my mom, why have me? Was she just another notch under your belt or something? Nolan eventually admits that what he said about Andressa being a mistake wasn't true. He does love Debbie, that part is real, but Andressa wasn't a mistake either. She represents a turning point in his life. When Nolan was mentally broken and ready to off himself, he found the Thraxans. In that moment, even as he considered letting himself be swallowed by a black hole, he chose instead to save them. It was a small, almost instinctive act of good, but it mattered. Living among the Thraxans, and especially with Andressa, forced Nolan to confront a different way of thinking. Their society doesn't cling to the past the way humans do. They value growth, effort, and the simple act of trying to be better. That perspective gave Nolan something he hadn't before, a reason to keep living, and maybe even the belief that he could change. And that's where Debbie comes back into the picture. A part of Nolan hoped, unrealistically, that what he learned could somehow help him rebuild what he destroyed with Debbie. Nolan was probably thinking the lessons that he learned from Andressa about forgiveness and not holding on to grudges. He was most likely trying to use what he learned from Thraxa and apply it onto Debbie and Earth. It doesn't help that during his apology tour across the galaxy, many species were forgiving him. Kinda, because he's like, oh, a Viltrumite being apologetic, feeling sincere remorse? Something that is unheard of. Nolan was more than simply a Viltrumite on Earth. He was a hero, a guardian, a husband, a father. That trust was shattered when it was revealed that he had been sent to conquer the Earth and his 20-year marriage with Debbie was a fabricated lie. Every memory people had of him was altered by his actions. Nolan's belief that things could ever go back to normal was always unattainable, and there's no simple way to forgive that. He wants redemption to work the same way everywhere, but it doesn't. He can't undo what he did, and no amount of apology can erase it. Still, he keeps trying. We see that clearly in his relationship with Oliver. Nolan gives something like a second chance, not to rewrite the past, but to prove he can be better moving forward. Their bond grows slowly. Oliver challenges him, questions him, even teaches him in small ways. The past doesn't disappear. The damage with Debbie doesn't heal overnight, if it ever fully does. But Nolan starts to create distance from his worst self, not by forgetting it, but by building something new alongside it. In guiding Oliver, he proves to himself as much as anyone else that he isn't doomed to repeat the same mistakes. After that beautiful father-son moment, Oliver starts taking his training more seriously, and meanwhile on the front lines of the war, we start to see more and more planets freed from the Viltrumites. It's looking like Star Wars out here, but except everyone doesn't have piss poor stormtrooper aim and actually landing hits. We see my demon of a kitty putting in work, and this one lone Viltrumite stands there thinking he's the main character. Kitty licks the blood off his lips. Well, RIP to that random Viltrumite. The rest of the squad are having their battles. Alan takes on a Viltrumite while Zoe makes easy work of the soldiers. Space Racer with his gun goes through a ship. Damn. The Infinity Ray is easily the deadliest weapon in the Invincibleverse, huh? The tide of the war is shifting in favor towards the Coalition. On more amazing news, Mark's wound on his stomach is healed and his beard finally connected. All he's missing now is the standard mustache. Mark then starts mumbling to himself, "I'll kill you." Ain't no way Mark was dreaming about choking out Conquest this entire time. What a nightmare to constantly have for 2 months straight. It's only a matter of time before Mark wakes up, which saddens Oliver. Not that he doesn't want his big brother to wake up, but he was enjoying his one-on-one alone time with his dad. We go back to Thrag, who questions his general, how did any of this happen? Well, it seems enslaving different species and enforcing our rule on others makes them rebellious. Not to mention the betrayer employed heavy hitters to target lone Viltrumites. That weak-ass status believes the odds are in his favor. We'll see about that. We're attacking his crib head-on. Grand Regent, Telescria is too well defended. Did I ask you to speak? No, sir. Thrag is now talking to Argol's skull again. It has no correlation whatsoever, but Thrag talking to that skull reminds me of Helga talking to the watermelon shaped like Arnold's head.
You idiot. I've always worn it. I've always loved you. My darling. My darling. Kiss me, my darling. Oh, so shaped Prometheus.
Back on the planet, Nolan and Oliver finish another training session. Oliver goes to say, I don't really see Earth as my home. I'm different from everyone there, even Mark. But this one time, I went to this restaurant and there was this round, bodacious, succulent lobster that was beautiful. It has shiny blue speckles. Oliver wants to f a lobster?
You what?
Nolan stands there in shock. I don't know why he's confused. He's following your path. You were deep in bug ussy, so that means Oliver wants to be in some lobster ussy.
I still ate it though.
Hey, you don't want nobody else to end it like that. Be poured out and a fuck you, baby.
I know a lot of people were freaked out when Oliver wants to crack a lobster, but I can't judge when my biggest hear me out was the Predator. Both return to their camp to find Mark missing, but he left behind footprints. Mark heads off to Conquest's grave, falling to his knees, believing his dad and little brother are dead, and these were their graves. Nolan and Oliver soon catch up to Mark, happy to see he's awake, with Oliver hugging him. Me, personally, I would have hugged any of them. They were stuck on that planet for almost 2 months. I know they funky as hell, especially Mark. Their breath combined smells like bounce that ass. They give Mark the cliff notes that he defeated Conquest, the war is still going on, he was out for 2 months, and he grew a beard. Back to Optimus Prime trying to calm everyone's nerves as the tension hangs thick in the air. Thetis listens. Too many lives lost. How much more bloodshed must our people suffer? Thetis responds calmly. He acknowledges the concern but doesn't bend. Freedom, he insists, demands sacrifice. There's no alternative now, they come too far to stop. Whatever doubts remain, they'll have to be buried with the dead. We see this blue fat guy turning something down on his screen.
What have you done?
Outside, a massive shadow cuts across the city, a Viltrumite warship. The meeting chamber erupts under fire. Everyone remains unharmed from the blast, only to look up and see.
What's good, Nyuka?
From above, Thrag gives a single merciless command: leave no one alive. Buildings and civilians are caught in the crossfire, and the streets collapse into panic and ruin. Through it all, General Krieg descends like a missile, tearing through anyone in his path. He shouts into the destruction, demanding to know where the betrayer is.
Here.
Damn! Thetis is buff as hell! Baggy clothes does wonders hiding your build. Thetis presses the attack, driving him down, fist landing with purpose, but Krieg recovers fast. He kicks Thetis off and launches him into the air, the two colliding again in a brutal mid-air clash. Alan's Bay moves through the streets surrounded by destruction, bodies, and smoke. Her voice cutting through the chaos, demanding the defense systems be restored immediately. Alan comes behind her, choking out Steve Harvey, but he breaks free and starts swinging on him. Zoe took out some enemies and ended up tackling through some buildings, bouncing off the walls. A Viltrumite has her pinned, and Alan notices and body checks the guy away from Zoe. Before Zoe can even catch her breath, Anissa drags her away by the collar. Meanwhile, Thetis and Krieg were still throwing hands, but this was easy mode for Big T, as he blocked Krieg's attacks and sent him down to taste the concrete. This is your general? Anissa takes Zoe across multiple buildings, and once again my heart starts to race because I'm thinking Zoe was gonna see the angels, tossing her to the wall, gripping her by the neck and using her body to grind up the wall. Zoe is trapped with Anissa saying, "Let's see you fight without your armor." Smiling, she brings out the Viltrumite fatality hand, going for the kill until Mark knocks her lights out. Woo, girl, every episode feels like a death flag for everybody. I know punching Anissa was so satisfying for Mark, payback for what she did in season 2. The Grayston family pulls up, standing there aura farming. They go to help, but Mark, watching all the destruction, turns his eyes to the Viltrumite warship and shouts to his brother to follow him. They slam straight into the Viltrumite ship, not attacking it, but going through it. The impact splits the ship clean in half. Inside, Thrag yells, and the first thing he does is grab that damn skull. I see someone has attachment issues. Down below, the momentum shifts. Coalition forces rally, pushing back harder now that the ship is crippled. But the Viltrumites aren't done. They're still in the fight, still tearing through anything in reach. Steve Harvey lunges at Alan and gets crushed mid-attack as Status stomps on him. Thrag's voice cuts across the battlefield. I know damn well the strongest species in the universe ain't running. The rest of the Viltrumite forces surrender, seeing as the strongest race straight up ran with their tails between their legs. Don't cheer yet, as there's still one major problem. The ship is starting to crash down, so the squad uses all their strength to push back into space, and Oliver, what is this stance? We soon learn that someone purposely let the Viltrumites in. Alan snatches this guy immediately, demanding why he betrayed us. I don't even know what you're talking about, but your console is the one that dropped our defenses. Then he notices the movement of the big fat lard trying to slip away. With the swiftness, he draws his weapon and shoots him in the head. How could you? We gave everything to the coalition. You betrayed us all. This guy was the one betraying them, and he's been feeding Thrag information for years, and I was under the impression that the Viltrumites had his family, a loved one, or had some dirt on him. No, he was snitching for free. He says, "It doesn't matter, bro. They were gonna win. I just didn't want to die." He tells them that Thrag and the remaining Viltrumites will regroup back on planet Viltrum, and Thetis has a big brain idea. We will strike them on their home turf. Wait, you want us to go to Viltrum? The heart of their empire. We then go back to Conquest's grave with the camera zooming in. I know you f***ing lying. This man was choked to death, buried in the ground for 2 months with no food, no water, and no air. And you're telling me he's alive?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Oh, piss off. Invincible writers think they're cute and funny, not gonna lie. I thought they were gonna resurrect Conquest and he was gonna look and move like Solomon Grundy. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the notification bell so you never miss an update, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!